All right, hello everyone, and now welcome to game 2, LK versus Yumiko. LK spawning on the bottom right-hand side of the map as the red human player. Meanwhile, on the top left, we have Yumiko spawning as the gray human. Human versus human once more, this time here on Ancient Isle, as we are going to be going into an Archmage mirror match again. Going to go ahead and slow things down at the 2-minute mark as the Archmages do make their way out. Slight advantage for Yumiko, but not really much to make a difference as we're looking at the militia now wander on over to take out these 5-3-3 creep camps. One lone footman down over here by Yumiko, causing a little bit of a stir as we see some early pressure by Yumiko to force LK to do a little bit more micro. Now, little micro tricks like this, or little distractionary tricks like this, are really what makes a great player just top tier. Anytime you can force your opponent to split their attention a little bit more, you can cause things like this to happen where all of a sudden a peasant falls while trying to creep. And most Warcraft 3 players, at least the top tier ones, never lose a unit while creeping, as we can see that this water elemental was simply didn't absorb that much damage. That water elemental has been around for a little bit of time, but he's only taken about 50 points of damage and regenerated some of that as well. All right, Archmage now going up against the gnolls off over here. Going to go ahead and take them down. There's some footmen and there's another gnoll. Once again, meanwhile, back down over here, we see the scout tower already being upgraded by YK. YK wanting to make sure that water elementals are not pushed inside his base like on the previous map, since he doesn't have easy access to these mercenary camps in the corner of the map here and down over here. So far, it looks like this is going to be creep wars for LK. LK wanting to continuing to creep. Meanwhile, the arcane tower is currently under attack here, and it's nowhere near being completed. That means that it will most likely end up getting canceled here in just a moment. There it goes. Footman or Water Elemental able to go ahead and take it down. Footman now just rushing through and taking down some of these peasants as well. More peasants will be forced to be trained, as we already see Yumiko teching to tier 2, even though he built an arcane tower of his own. Yumiko is going to have a huge tech advantage moving on into the mid game, meaning he will have more sorceress and faster sorceress than his opponent, who is being forced to retrain peasants and may end up being delayed by as much as 30 seconds. 30 seconds could be the difference between victory and defeat, as we have all seen. The timing on that second hero is going to be extremely important. And what LK may want to do is try and train up a panda like he did in the previous game. Without the training time on that second hero, you can make up a little bit of lost ground. But the problem with the panda is if your opponent, as in a human mirror match, ends up going for spell breakers, your panda is pretty much nullified into trying to use Drunken Brawler and act as an in-between between a Demon Hunter and a Blade Master. Archmage still running around, but with Boots of Speed will easily be able to outrun his opponent. Meanwhile, you can see LK doing a little bit of a great job there, just constantly chasing after that Archmage. Archmage is going to have a very strained time. There's another farm off over there as the Archmage just running around in circles. Going to try and drop another water elemental here, but I don't think it's going to work. The militia should be able to just pressure that very heavily, as the Archmage now down to 68 hit points. The footmen should perhaps try to make their way off over here, get in front of that Archmage and take him down. But wait, no, where are those footmen? The footmen are nowhere to be found. 29 over 36 supply compared to 32 over 36, as the footmen of Yumiko clearing up these gnoll brutes. Down over here, you can see that the footmen, another footman lost by the Archmage of by LK. LK not taking control of his units all too well, and he's going to end up hurting even more. Back off to the north, let's take a look. Archmage is sitting at level 2, 330 mana compared to 435. The difference a Circlet of Nobility and a Tome of Intelligence makes could be a very big difference and a deciding factor in this game number 2, as Yumiko now wandering around. footman trying to do a little bit of chase. You can see that, oh, defend already picked up. But this is one of those dangerous situations that you rarely want to be in. You never want to be running away with defend on. The footmen now getting surrounded here. You can see, even though they do have defend, the water elementals are still doing considerable damage as the archmage trying to chase after this footman here. It looks like it will end up falling as the archmage does have boots of speed, getting even closer to level 3. All right, the water elementals now all trying to run for the hills. Another water elemental being placed down. And this fight does not have defined lines as you would normally see in a WarCraft 3 game. This is one of those strange situations as the Mountain King now comes out, and that 30-second difference may be absolutely huge. Are we going to perhaps see a surround on that Mountain King? Mountain King now in a little bit of trouble, gets off a Stormbolt onto a footman instead. Another footman takes the place to prevent the surround as the Mountain King now continuing to just run laps. This is not going to be a good spot to be in. You can see that the Mountain King already down to half life, but a Stormbolt does go down. And another footman lost. This is starting to turn into an uphill battle for LK, even though LK does have the higher level Archmage. That 30-second difference in that Mountain King is really what is making a big difference there, as another Stormbolt does go down. Mountain King down to 30 hit points. If the Archmage can somehow catch up, perhaps get around to it, that will be a very big deal. And now the Priest is just going to start healing as much as possible. All right, there you go. No, not going after the Mountain King. The Mountain King was completely free to run back. However, the Priest was taken down. Archmage gonna try and take down this Mountain King. This is gonna turn into a little bit of a nightmare. The Mountain King is now up in the front. Archmage may end up getting taken down, and the Archmage, wow, like goodness, I think he was ended up getting healed there. Scroll of Town Portal coming in. Archmage now trying to fight through this, and all of units are able to teleport in the back of the base. A huge deal as another footman gets taken out. All right, Yumiko a little bit hurt, but he does still have his Mountain King and his Archmage, and it looks like the Archmage of LK will be forced to retreat. Let's take a look at the supply. 28 over 42. And I think the real difference would have been if a single hero was taken down. That experience difference would then be too much to overcome, as the Archmage at level 2, or with level 2 Brilliance Aura, can drop many more water elementals than an Archmage at level 1. Archmage now making its way over here to the, I will call the 9 o'clock expansion location of Ancient Isle. Water elementals are in a good spot to perhaps catch any units in transit. However, there are no units currently in transit at all. Not going to be able to even Stormbolt them, as we now see the Archmage getting caught in a little bit of a weird situation. There's a Dispel magic onto the water elementals, and you really need to figure out what you're going after in terms of your target. It looks like LK wants to go after the Priest, and that could be a smart call if he can actually take down those Priests, since the Priests do have Dispel magic. But the problem is that the water elementals are getting picked off faster than they can deal damage to those Priests. Archmage now getting closer, or both of the heroes getting closer to leveling. Archmage only a third of the way, but he just hit level 3 moments ago. Archmage Mountain King preparing for what should be the upcoming fight. LK needs things to go for him in the right way for him to really catch up. He is not in nearly as a dominating position before he lost game 1. And I don't know how he's going to be able to recover from his position currently in game 2. Stormbolt onto a Mountain King. A six militia surround takes down the Mountain King there. And if the Archmage is not careful, he's going to be forced to try and or use a Scroll of Town Portal. No, not going to be that, as the Spellbreaker now venturing forth. All right, Archmage going to go ahead and clear that all out. It looks like LK is just not having a good day. He knows that things are not going all too well for him, and he is not playing up to his normal standards. 38 over, I think it was 38 over 48 supply compared to 45 over 48. That is looking really strong there, as the Archmage now making its way over. Town Hall. Currently getting a speed built back down over here. Spellbreakers now making their way over. Red Drake in position to try and just deal damage to these Spellbreakers down over here. The Priest should really try and focus down that Red Drake, as the Red Drake is not getting hit at all. Meanwhile, you can see that LK is looking to try and clear up this expansion, perhaps get a little bit more mana, get to perhaps level 2 on that Mountain King, but it doesn't look like that's going to work out all too well. Instead, getting Creepjack, the Mountain King, still sitting at level 1, and this might be the fight that decides everything. Whoever can take hold of this and take control of at this point will end up winning it. Experience given to LK. LK purposely stopped attacking that troll right there, and now a Goblin Shredder is out on the field. That Goblin Shredder is extremely low on hit points, has to be very, very careful for LK. It does get focused down, giving level 4 to an Archmage, and now the Archmage is going to be causing even more problems as that Mountain King is also at level 3. Level 2 Stormbolt should be coming in onto that Archmage here in just a moment, and that Mountain King, who has plenty of mana between the Mana Stone and the Brilliance Aura, is going to start focusing down unit after unit. I'm kind of surprised by that. I would have sworn that more damage would have been dealt. 225 damage on a Stormbolt should have nearly killed that priest. Perhaps it is not a level 2 Stormbolt, perhaps level 2 Bash, which wouldn't make that much sense considering you do have a Mana Stone. Tome of Intelligence now picked up. Another reveal being used as Yumiko has the economic advantage. I believe he also has the supply advantage, 47 over 60 compared to 30 over 54. And unless a miracle happens, LK is going to end up losing game number 2 and this series. Keep now currently being upgraded as well. You can see Arcane Towers are here ready to defend off. If Yumiko tries to overextend and press his luck, he could end up falling here, but that would be a horrible misplay by Yumiko. Priest gonna go ahead and focus down that red Drake. It looks like that Mountain King is the one to gain the experience. He should not level though. A level 6 Drake does not give that much experience. Does give a good amount, but still taking down oh wow, Sobi Mask and a Mana Stone. And that is how much the Mountain King is regenerating mana without the help of Brilliant Aura. You can see how crazy fast the Mountain King is now regenerating mana. And that Mountain King is going to have more, or is going to be throwing Stormbolts left and right. We might even see 4 to 5 Stormbolts from this Mountain King alone, considering the fact that he has a Mana Stone to use in case of emergencies. Alright, going after the Null Overseer down over here. Level 2 Brilliant Aura. Oh, the Mana Stone now given to the Archmage for more, what's it called? For more Water Elementals instead. That Mountain King still regenerating mana fairly quickly. You can see that it seems like it's in the realm of 5 mana a second. So, every 13, every 15 mana seconds, you can have an additional Stormbolt on top of the 3 he already has. So that is going to be a huge, huge deal. Both of them now trying to get in a position. Level 4 Archmage, level 3 Mountain King. LK doing a good job catching up. And if there is a bit of a Creepjack, which doesn't look like it will happen as Yumiko pulls away these creeps here, knowing that his opponent is not too far. Archmage going to be coming through. Are we going to be seeing that damage? Mountain King takes a Stormbolt, but not much damage is dealt. Spellbreakers draining some of that all-important mana though, and that is going to be a big deal. Yumiko losing a bit of hit points on that Water Elemental. Now Mountain King at level 4, and here is that fight. Archmage really pressing himself forward, not attacking, not doing anything, not sure what he's doing at all. If you're not attacking with your hero, then what exactly are you attempting to do? Spellbreakers and Priests need to be dropped back down. Mountain King now getting Stormbolted. Mountain King now picked up, so we are going to be seeing these Mountain Kings just picked up into the air and then drop back down. This is Spellbreaker Wars 2015, and it looks like Yumiko, who has more Spellbreakers and was almost able to take down the Mountain King, is going to end up taking this game. There goes more Water Elementals. A Stormbolt does go down. Yumiko's Mountain King, however, not in any serious danger. Dizziness now on the Spellbreakers. Tome of Wind being placed down as Yumiko easily takes game number 2. Please stay tuned for spoiler game number 3. I believe it's going to be Yumiko versus WFZ.